Some people move through life with big friend groups, loud chats, and constant plans. And there are those who walk alone, not because they're broken, not because something is wrong, but because their mind works in a way most people will never understand. If you've ever wondered why some people end up with no friends, whether by choice, by personality, or by past pain, the truth is far deeper than loneliness. And today, we're going inside that mind. So here's my question: is a person with no friends actually lost? Or are they discovering something the rest of the world is too distracted to see? You're about to find out. This is Brain and Behavior YT. Let's begin. We live in a world where friendship is treated like a measure of worth. More friends, more value. More social circles, more importance. More activity, more happiness. At least that's what society tells us. But psychology paints a very different picture. In reality, people who walk alone often have inner worlds far richer than others ever notice. Some choose silence, and some are simply built differently from the start. Now here's where things get interesting. The inner world of the quiet mind. Many people with no friends aren't empty. They're full of thoughts, full of ideas, full of self-awareness. The problem is this: most conversations are surface level, small talk, noise, distractions. But some minds don't operate at that level. They crave depth. They crave conversations that don't fit into everyday life. And when you're someone who doesn't enjoy fake smiles or forced laughter, you automatically end up with fewer people around you. Not because you're antisocial, but because your social filters are sharper. Imagine living in a world where everyone speaks in whispers while your mind is shouting with ideas. That mismatch alone creates distance. But there's more. The invisible wound most people never see. Some people don't walk alone by choice. They walk alone because of something that happened years earlier. Maybe they trusted the wrong person. Maybe someone betrayed them. Maybe they were made fun of. Whatever the story is, it leaves a quiet scar. Not loud enough for others to notice, but deep enough that the person learns one thing: it's safer not to need anyone. And once the mind accepts that, friendship becomes a risk, not a comfort. People with invisible wounds often appear calm or independent. Getting close hurts, staying alone does not. It's not weakness, it's protection. But here's the twist psychology reveals: even when someone avoids friendships because of pain, they often crave connection just as strongly as anyone else. They just don't know how to trust it yet. This leads us to something most people never think about: the misunderstood power of independence. Some people naturally operate best alone. They think clearly when they're alone. They solve problems faster. They enjoy their own presence. These people aren't avoiding friends, they're simply content without them. When someone tries to fit into large social groups, they feel drained instead of energized. They'd rather spend time improving themselves or learning something new. So people label them as loners. But the truth is, they're not lonely. They're focused. And it's hard for the world to understand that kind of peace. But there's still another layer, one that explains why some people stay friendless even when they secretly want connection. The danger of overthinking in social life. For some, the challenge isn't independence, it's overthinking. They replay conversations. They worry about being judged. They question whether people really like them. To a mind like this, friendships feel like puzzles with no solution. It's not that they don't want friends. They just don't want to be misunderstood, rejected, or humiliated again. And so they stay silent. They keep their distance. Now, all these paths, inner richness, emotional wounds, independence, and overthinking, may seem different, but they all lead to one final truth. A truth that explains everything. Different values create distance. When researchers study people with few or no friends, they repeatedly see one pattern. Their values don't match the majority. Most people value constant interaction. They value meaningful connection. Most people fear being alone. They often feel safe there. And when your values sit outside the standard social structure, you naturally begin to drift. Not by force, just by being who you are. And here's something important: people with no friends often understand themselves more deeply than people surrounded by noise. They've had time to think, time to grow, time to question. In many ways, they're ahead of the world. But let's close with the deepest question of all. Having no friends is a problem or a strength? Psychology gives a surprising answer. It depends on whether the loneliness is chosen or forced. If someone prefers solitude, feels peaceful, and uses that space to grow, then having no friends isn't a weakness. It's a lifestyle that supports their personality. But if someone feels misunderstood or pushed away by past pain, then the silence becomes heavy, not healing. Both paths exist, both are real. Both deserve understanding instead of judgment. Some people have no friends, not because they lack value, but because their value is rare. And rare things are never found in groups. So the next time you see someone walking alone, don't assume they're lonely. Don't assume they're broken. Don't assume they're missing something. Because some are healing, some are observing, some are protecting themselves. Walking alone doesn't define a person. What they discover on that walk matters. Thanks for watching. Like the video and comment below. Subscribe to Brain and Behavior YT. Also hit the bell icon. See you in the next video.